Good Monday evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. I am your host, Coach, and I am joined once again by my esteemed colleague, producer, and co-host, Big Daddy C.
What's going on, We Book It fam? Coach, what's happening?
Nothing much. We were talking before we got on air here, just talking a little hockey and NBA with the four nations going on and the All-Star break, and USA disappointing performance tonight against Sweden with the loss, but hey, rematch against Canada, that's all that matters. I'm looking forward to that. I want 5 fights in the first 10 seconds this time, not just three. Three is rookie numbers. We need to bump those up.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. I still need to go back and watch the highlights and see how it all went down. But yeah, I ain't been too in tune with hockey. My Blackhawks been trash, so I just keep track of the scores and all that on my phone. Um, but yeah, man, it's I wish they just let people. I wish NBA and NFL let these dudes fight just like they do in hockey, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then hey, put them in timeout for about a couple of minutes if you got to do so, man. They got the little tents out there, put them in the tent, for like
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 minutes. They get out of line. Don't even disqualify them. Now if they fight again, they get into it again, then you can disqualify them. But
Yep.
let them get the 2 to 3 minute penalty, after fighting. Let them throw some hands for a little bit, man. That'll add some more excitement to the league. As long as nobody get hurt, nobody get severely injured, nothing like that. I think it'll be fine. It'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. There's got to be a respect. It's got to be like a Fight Club rule with that. We're not here to kill each other, but we're here to
Right.
fight.
Yeah. Now you probably be able to get away with more in football compared to basketball because
Oh yeah.
obviously basketball is more is you're on both sides of the there's more aspects involved, like you're in control of many different things compared to football, so
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to risk getting injured by fighting, so that probably ain't gonna happen with basketball. But
Right.
football you can get away with it, and then we know baseball, they don't give a shit. Hockey and baseball, they don't care. Like
Yep.
they go scrap. Go ahead.
All right. So we kick off Monday Night Raw live from Charlotte with a promo from Sami Zayn, who came to the ring wobbling, still feeling the effects of that package pile driver that he got from Kevin Owens just a few weeks ago. Basically says that goes through the history of him and Kevin Owens' friendship, goes through that, and says this time is different though. This time there will be retribution, and I want to fight you at the Elimination Chamber in Toronto. Well, out comes Adam Pearce, who says, well, you're not medically cleared. We can't do anything about it. And he said the only way we can do it is if it is an unsanctioned match, to which Sami Zayn proudly says, yes, I want that. And Adam Pearce reluctantly says, okay, unsanctioned one-on-one match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens now for in the Elimination Chamber PLE in Toronto next Saturday. And see, I am very curious to see how they're going to do this. When has been the last unsanctioned match like this in WWE?
Oh shit.
Has there even been one?
Yeah, there's been quite a few throughout history. I want to say the last one um had the last one of importance, I would say, had to be um Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho back in 2008, I believe. I think it was
Okay.
2008. Yeah. That was when Jericho basically threw Shawn Michaels into that was after the fact, but yeah, it was after he threw Shawn Michaels into the little TV, had the glass shards in his eye or
Ah, yep.
whatever. Yeah, so it was around that time. But yeah, and outside of that, I think another one was another Shawn Michaels match, him and Triple H. They had another unsanctioned match. Essentially, Shawn Michaels won, but still ended up getting beat up after the match by Triple H. So yeah, there have been quite a few, but I think the last major one, I have to go back and really check to see. There was one. It might have been something involving Randy Orton or Kevin Owens. Uh, but but yeah, it's very rare that we get an unsanctioned match. And so if that's the case, it's a real personal rivalry going on if it's unsanctioned. So yeah, I was excited about I like the promo. Obviously, Sammy didn't show up last week for obvious reasons, but he didn't show up on SmackDown, that is. And so but yeah, to see him come out and we knew he's gonna have something to say and in response to KO, a matchup was going to happen at the Chamber. And so I'm glad it's unsanctioned because them two having a regular match, we're well past that at this point. They've had Iron Man matches, like they've had all kinds of matches so far. And I actually watched a clip. It was like a clip of like the history between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, but or actually it was like it was a video titled like times where Kevin Owens tried to end people's careers and all that stuff. So it's just like a whole bunch of highlights of him like just like destroying people, putting them through ladders and all that. And lo and behold, the one person that was a common enemy or with Sami Zayn, whether it's him as Sammy or him as El Generico.
El Generic.
Yeah, so like these two, and Sammy brought it up. He's like, they're like them two have been like together throughout their mainly throughout their entire lives, like more than half their lives, like from teenagers growing up in Canada all the way through to now. Like they've been inseparable in everywhere they've been. They have been. So there's no different here outside of the fact that it's more personal than it's ever been before. And so this will go through Mania. I don't think this will not be the one off with this situation. This will go all the way through Mania. And so they've main evented WrestleMania as a tag team, won tag team championships. They've done their own thing separately as singles competitors. Now they get to have a one-on-one battle in Canada on their home turf, and more likely go at it again at WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all. So I think that's where we're headed. I cannot wait for it. It's bound to get crazy.
My one hope for when they make the WrestleMania match is that it becomes a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they do like what they did, what Kane, Big Show, and Raven did at WrestleMania 17, and just go throughout the entire stadium.
Oh yeah,
and just do that. I think this would be perfect
got
for
to.
this rivalry. Even
I mean,
do it at Elimination Chamber. I don't care. Just do it. Just do it sometime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we're like they already hinted at it. I'm like, that's pretty much what we're going to get at the Elimination Chamber. And I don't think it's going to end. This is going to be a no contest. Like it's not going. It's going to be the same, just like it was with Randy Orton and KO. It ended in no contest. Like this basically what's going to happen with this. It's going to be all out. Like no, WWE is not going to be responsible. Like Adam Pearce is not going to be responsible. Nick Aldis is not going to be responsible. Like they've wiped themselves completely clean of any repercussions that comes from this match. So yeah, Elimination Chamber, man, they getting us excited for it. And outside of the two chamber matches themselves, we needed something else, to get us going and get us prepped for this heading into WrestleMania.
Agreed. So after that segment, we get into our first match of the night, which is AJ Styles making his in-ring return against Dirty Dom Mysterio. And I got to give credit to Mysterio here. His last couple of matches, he has been kind of the guy to help bring back the veterans. His CM Punk's first match back with WWE was against Mysterio. Sheamus, his first match back after injury was against Mysterio, and now AJ Styles back against Mysterio. So there's a run coming for Mysterio. I can really feel it. If it's as a face or as a heel, I'm not sure, but there's a singles run coming for him because they obviously have a lot of trust in him working with veterans. But the match itself, pretty straightforward. Carlito was at ringside, interfered with Styles. Mysterio would get a couple of near falls, and then finally AJ Styles would hit the Styles Clash and get the pinfall for the victory. But it was after the match that got people talking because as Styles was celebrating, Braun Breaker makes his way into the ring and is looking to spear AJ Styles, only for Styles to get out of the way, and he spears Mysterio instead. Breaker, visibly upset, then chucks his t-shirt at AJ Styles, who makes a sweet grab of the t-shirt and does it like a badass that he is. And then they both stare at the Intercontinental Championship title, and before Breaker grabs it and starts to leave. So, like I said, pretty straightforward match, but it started to tease that hype between Breaker and Styles. See, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was pretty solid. Dom, being in a having the opportunity to be in the ring with all of these seasoned veterans, people that we consider, Hall of Famers or future Hall of Famers. It's impressive to see, considering the fact that, a lot of these guys were a lot younger and in their primes, when Dom was like 10 years old, maybe younger than that. And we were watching Eddie and Ray during that time. And so just to see that years later, see him all grown up and as a man. And so it's very cool to see. I think to answer your point about him going on a singles run, I do envision that happening. Because I think the Judgment Day is pretty much nearing the end completely this time.
Thank God.
And so I think Liv is going to turn on him eventually, as well as Finn. I think that at some point they are going to go their separate ways. And so, but yeah, I do think Dom, especially with this, and we talked about it on the Sunday pod. I see Dom, whether it's in TNA, go to TNA, do some things, or go back to NXT. I do see him making some noise at some point. And so, but in terms of AJ Styles and Braun Breaker, I'm all ready for it. I'm on board with this match that they're eventually going to have. And so, I know they teased it at what was it last week? What was the last? Well, before, last week they kind of teased it. And so now it looks like we're on the course to get that matchup. So I'm excited for it.
Yes, me too. We move on to our next match, which is a number one contenders match for the women's intercontinental title between Dakota Kai and Ivy Nile. Lyra Valkyria was at ringside looking really, really beautiful. And, I'm going to be honest, that's all I really remember from this match because I went to go do my dishes.
It was a piss break.
It was a dish break for me. But I did rewind it. I did catch the end of it, or I saw the beginning of the next segment, so I rewound it to catch the finisher. Dakota Kai ended up winning, so it looks like it'll be Kai versus Valkyria for the rematch after the first official women's intercontinental title match. The crowd's behind Dakota Kai right now. They're trying to push for it. And Ivy Nile, despite the fact that she is such a great in-ring performer, just has no real charisma right now.
Yeah, she's not. Which is weird because I watched an interview with her like just hours before we hopped on, and like off screen, like in terms of her interviewing, like she has a bubbly personality, like
Mm-hmm.
real nice, cool. Like she like if you seem she seemed like somebody that you could have a like legit normal conversation with. Like she comes off as having that type of personality. But I think in terms of trying to be a badass, like have this like like trying to do what Chad Gable was doing, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to implement that. Like I feel like it's not working to the extent that we will want it. I don't know why. I know I joke, call her Nebula, but no, she has the talent, man. She has the
Mm-hmm.
potential. I think um, they got to figure something out, man. So we'll see what happens with Ivy in the future. I think I'm gonna go out here and pull a hot take. I think that Lyra, I think they might mess around and turn her heel, bro. Um, because you can't have two, you can't. It's hard to have two faces going at it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we've already seen, like you said, the crowd is behind Dakota Kai. Um, and I feel like you need to have a heel. You need to like. I feel like in this situation, if someone's been over as a face and they're more over compared to the actual champion themselves, I feel like that creates the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
have that person to have that champion turn heel. And
Right.
I feel like this may be something that could help Lyra, and
Mm-hmm.
boost her persona. Like she could potentially, if I won't say repackage her character, but definitely I feel like it'll definitely do dividends for her in the long run. Every I feel like every superstar needs that test run with as a heel to see
Mm-hmm.
exactly how far they can go as a superstar. And so I think Lyra, it's her time to get on board with that and see what happens. So that's my take. I think she'll be heel um, by the time WrestleMania comes around.
All right. Well, we'll keep our eye on that. And speaking of somebody over with the crowd, whether good or bad, our next segment is Gunther coming to the ring through the crowd, mocking Jey Uso, as he quoted, "I wanted to see what all this yeeting was about." And then he goes through his normal shtick of criticizing everybody on the roster, saying they're not good enough, criticizes the crowd for believing in Jey Uso. He even takes a shot at Pat McAfee, saying, "You're the one who always talks about how great Jey is. Say to my face that he's going to beat me," to which McAfee, of course, plays the cowardly announcer and is like, I don't know, man. I don't know, and everything. So that was pretty fun interaction. Jay then comes out, and him and Gunther brawl for a little bit. They get broken up. So just building more hype to this championship match at WrestleMania. I thought simple but effective. Nothing too flashy, but I really did like Gunther doing the troll job of coming out of the crowd like Jay would. What do you think there, C?
I enjoyed it. We want to keep this momentum going week in, week out because you do not want to get stagnant going into WrestleMania. I know this match, since it's already set in stone, going through would not be, or either of these two would not be wrestling at Elimination Chamber. And so I believe, they gotta figure out they gotta find ways each week to keep this to keep building on this feud so we can be ready for it come for the match come WrestleMania. So I enjoyed it.
All right, moving on to our next match, which is Penta versus Pete Dunne, and a nice little bruiser matchup between both of these guys, both putting on some really good spots. There was actually one time where Penta hit Pete Dunne's jaw, and it made a loud echo throughout the arena. So I thought that was a really nice spot. Match gets about halfway through, only for Ludwig Kaiser to show up and has his innocence look of, oh, I'm just here to watch, just here to watch. And right as Penta was going for his Mexican destroyer, Kaiser gets up on the ring, distracts Penta. Pete Dunne tries for a roll up, but does not get the victory. And then he focuses attention to Kaiser. They go back and forth. Penta then picks up Dunne, hits the Mexican Mexican destroyer, pins him for the win. And then after the match, Kaiser attacks Penta. So it's looking like we are probably heading for a triple threat match down the line with these three. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. What are your thoughts,
Yeah.
Steve?
I would say honestly, eh, all right, these three have a triple threat match, but I feel like if anything, there should be something on a line, like maybe a future intercontinental championship opportunity.
Yeah.
I think that could be something that could be thrown in there. Obviously, AJ Styles is more likely going to be the next man up to face Braun
Mm-hmm.
for the championship. But obviously, you want to have somebody else waiting in the wings. I feel like so this match could be something like that. Whoever wins gets a future opportunity at the IC title. And so, because I don't want to see it just be a normal, just a normal triple threat match. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my thoughts on it.
No, I agree with you. I do think if adding some stakes to it would be very beneficial for that match. But I agree. I am looking forward to that eventual triple threat. We move on to our next match, which is an Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. And what started out as Perez being wily and fast against the bigger, taller Rodriguez eventually was squashed by Rodriguez with her size. Liv providing a little bit of a distraction, not too much, but a lot of back and forth towards the end until Bianca Belair and Naomi both come out rocking the East Compton Clovers from the movie Bring It On, and spot on with the costumes, by the way. I loved it. They then take out Liv. Raquel gets distracted. Roxanne then hits her finisher for the win. And Perez is going to the Elimination Chamber, and the women's chamber match is officially set. And see, out of this, I think they have I don't want to say this is true, but it looks like Perez is leaning towards that babyface turn because the crowd was really into everything she was doing.
Yeah, I believe because I feel like her time is officially done in NXT. I think her last that Fatal 4-Way was more likely her send off. And so now she can turn her attention to the big dogs, to the big leagues, main roster. And so I think she is primed for major success. On the main roster. I don't think she's going to win the chamber, of course, but would I like to see her and Lyra lock them up again? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're going to be heading within the next couple of months. If they decide to keep the title on Lyra, I would definitely like to see Roxy and Lyra go at it again. So, in terms of the match, nothing to write home about. So now that we have the final entrant, now we can move forward with the match itself, and then figure out, you kind of discuss who we think is going to win it. as we get closer to the matches, to the pay-per-view match itself.
Yeah, so then we get to our next segment, which is the New Day giving a promo about why they attacked Rey Mysterio last week, even though we didn't really get a chance to see that attack because Netflix went off air. But basically, they were saying that they blame Mysterio for sucking the life out of every young competitor in WWE because he is still wrestling at his age, even though he's in the Hall of Fame. You know, typical heel stuff. LWO comes out and basically defends Mysterio, and brawl happens, and that's kind of it with this one. We're looking probably at a tag team matchup between the New Day and Mysterio and Dragon Lee in the future, but I don't know. Something felt off about this one. It was missing something. I can't put my finger on it, but it got the job done. That was the important thing. See, what do you think?
Uh, yeah. Ah, I this one on one. This one on ones. It was hard to sit through. Honestly, that's
Hmm.
all I got for it. That's all I got for it, man. Like, cause I was just slowly but surely. I was like, man, what, like, cause once we get like to halfway through episode of Raw, just like, man, I'm like, it's not keeping me as intrigued as I thought. So like,
Hmm.
so now my brain is like starting to like just like go to a whole nother place, and it's just like, all right, I'm bored. Let's get to the main
Hmm.
event. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with it, man.
Understood. And speaking of the main event, we come to it now with the final Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Seth freaking Rollins and Finn Balor. And both guys, history of having matches together, and they never disappoint. This was one of them, um, albeit controversial, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But as the match progressed, Seth Rollins started targeting the knee of Finn Balor. Balor sold it like a champ, like he was still hurting. Uh, Seth sold quote unquote broken ribs that Balor did. It was good action. Nobody really had control until Rollins hit his first pedigree, and as the mat as the referee was down on the mat getting ready to count, he counted 1, 2, and had clearly gotten ready to do 3 and stopped because Finn Balor didn't kick out at the right time. And he held it there for maybe a second or two, but it was enough to be noticeable. And Finn then kicked out. Crowd was not happy at all.
Botchamania.
Botchamania for sure. Botchamania for sure. But Seth Rollins took it like a champ and basically gave the suck it gesture to the referee. But that led to a distraction as Finn Balor then got Rollins in a crossface, and then back and forth roll up attempts. And then finally, Rollins got him with the stomp, and that was the end of the match. And it is Seth freaking Rollins going to the Elimination Chamber as we end the Monday Night Raw, and we are officially set for Elimination Chamber now with both of the Chamber matches. See your thoughts on this this main event.
um, I think the match was pretty solid. Obviously, you know the chemistry between Seth and Finn, dating back what
15?
2015.
Yeah, I think it's 15.
Yeah, yeah, the Universal Championship match,
Mm-hmm.
which Finn won at SummerSlam. before he has to relinquish it the next night due to injury. And so yeah, but we know anytime these two get in the ring, it's magic, and it's pretty much what we got here in this situation. And so I thought it was pretty solid main event match.
Yeah, I thought it was a great main event match. Definitely, uh, I won't say saved the show, but it definitely helped it
Yeah,
because I thought overall it was not a bad show. Uh, it was it was setting the table for Elimination Chamber and still trying to develop some storylines going into WrestleMania. But I mean, overall, not bad. There were a couple of low spots, like I said. I went to go do the dishes during one match, and a couple of promos just kind of felt flat as well, like you said. See, so I think good in ring quality, but outside of that, nothing really stood out the most besides the botch there by the referee. Um, so I give it a solid B minus.
yeah. I think I'll roll with you on that one with the B minus. I think obviously there weren't there was no Punk there. Drew's on SmackDown now.
Hmm.
And so obviously had some stars go over to, swap brands pretty much. And so but we had AJ have his match, first match back at on Raw after what 2.5 years, I guess. And so
Yeah.
um, so it's as things start to get ironed out going into Elimination Chamber, I think, we start things to start picking up again in terms of having a good episode from start to
Hmm.
finish. And then each as we get closer to Mania, things are things are going to get more hectic. So
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, so we'll see what happens over the next month and a half.
Yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Big Daddy C. So that brings us to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. Thank you all for tuning in. If this is your first time, make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We're on all three major social media platforms. We're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can listen to us on Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts, rather, sorry, Spotify. We also go live on Twitch and YouTube and even on X as well. And if this is not your first time and you've been listening to us for a while, go ahead, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. What do you want us to talk about? We have plenty of shows where we talk wrestling. This just happened to be the Monday night show. But if you saw something from Monday Night Raw that we might have missed, let us know and we'll bring it up in our Sunday show. And we just want to hear from the fans. So, Big Daddy C,
What's
any
that?
final thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say our apologies to the We Book It family. We couldn't dish out the AEW and SmackDown show last week. Everyone had some scheduling conflicts,
Mm-hmm.
so we couldn't get it all. But we'll be back in full swing this Friday with the AEW with the All Elite recap and Friday Night SmackDown double header show. So me and Fritos, I think, well, did Frito say he's gonna be out of it this week?
Yeah, I think this week he's
Okay.
out.
Okay. You think you'll be free Friday or no?
I should be.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, keep me posted. Then we probably, if anything, Mike chip in with us as well, so we can get this thing rolled out. So we'll catch you guys on Friday. Thanks for all who tuned in live or who's gonna watch this stream after it gets uploaded to YouTube. So love you guys. Keep supporting, like, follow, share, subscribe, and keep those booking pencils sharp and keep on booking. That was the first time I ever said
Yeah, not good. Hey, that was
that.
one.
First
That
time I ever
was
said that.
Watch out, Mike.
All right. All right, guys. Catch you on Friday.
All right, see you, everybody.
Peace. Yep.
Bye.